I'm going to be talking about a whole, a few, not just the topic on, I'm not going to touch tongue-tied. I'm just not going to, touch on the topic twin flames. I'm going to touch on a few things, right? And so I came across the post, and this one person was talking about how they've done all the praying, right? They did whatever they could do, for their twin flame to appear, to come back into their lives. And they were wondering, like, what is left for them to do? What do they need to learn about themselves? What lessons do they need to learn? In order for them to be as one with their twin flame. Man, this shit's really real to them. I'm gonna tell you, bro, like, it's real, because I know I was once there, and I really believed in all that shit, man. I thought all that shit was just real. But now when I listen to people talk this way, and oh God, it helps me see how brainwashed I really was in believing that there was something that I needed to learn about myself in order to attract my fucking twin flame. Listen to that shit. Really listen to that shit, man. That don't even sound right. It's like I said once before, like in my last video, it's like an abusive mindset towards yourself. Thinking that you have to learn something about yourself in order to attract a man in your life. Like there's something that you have to fix about yourself. And this person was like, I've done all the praying and stuff, and it doesn't matter what I do, my twin flame's not coming. Which goes to show that it doesn't matter what you do. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. It's when they choose to show up. You can do whatever. You can learn more about yourself and blah, blah, blah. And them motherfuckers may not even show up. And then they might. It's a catch-22. There's really no telling. And there's really no telling that that's your twin flame. That it's called twin flame, basically. That's just a label. But people do get attached to that label, and they create this fairy tale around it, thinking that you guys are one soul split in half. Listen to how ridiculous that sounds now. I mean, really listen to that. We don't even know if there's a fucking soul. That's something that we were programmed to believe, that we have a soul. From the time we were born, we were taught or told that we have a soul. It's a program. And I don't even know if it's a program, because a program is another label too, but it's the only way to express this shit, man. But this is what the twin flame community talks about. Talking about one soul being split in half, and there's a bunch of healing and purging and fucking dark night of the soul that you have to face in order for your twin flame to come around. And people waste their whole motherfucking lives away doing this shit, thinking that this shit is true. And I'm not saying none of that shit happened to the person. Apparently in the story it did. In the dream, it did. And it was very real to the person. And we don't know what that is. We don't know what it's called. Something apparently happened, but we don't know if it's because of the twin flame. We don't know. We have no fucking idea. But for some reason, people go reading up on twin flames, and they say all this shit that you have to purge, heal, learn shit about yourself, blah, blah, blah. And then people believe in that shit. They become so brainwashed and they believe in that shit. And then they really believe that it has everything to do with their twin flame. No one knows a damn thing. It's just something that they were assuming was true. You know, and I told this person, you know, what did I say? Because, see, I don't remember. Like, shit goes so fast for me. It's there one moment and then it's gone. I'm trying to remember what I said to this woman. But I said, I don't even know if it's a woman, really. I don't know, was it a man or a woman? See, that's a whole nother topic. Anyways, I said, what did I say to them? I said after 5 years, my twin flame came back. But but what I realized is it wasn't because I was doing a bunch of fucking healing and purging and shit like that, because I walked away from all of that. Because while I was doing all of that, he never showed up. Not to say that he would have showed up. There's no telling. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Right? And people were like, well, you need to just let them be. Let them find out on their own. Well, here's the thing. If I can express my situation and what I went through to that person, and it helps that person in some kind of a way or whatever, then so be it. Because I can't stand to watch this shit anymore. Watch people go through, you know, believing in that shit and thinking that that's the way. You know, and it may just be the way, but really no one knows. No one knows anything. But anyways, something else grabbed my attention, and I'm going to read it off. And it said, the only ascension you really need to worry about is your own, because everyone will ascend at their own pace. So before spirituality, I didn't know what ascension meant. I didn't know what ascension was. I still don't even know what it is. It was just something that through spirituality, I believed I was doing. I was ascending. But really, I didn't know. I didn't know. And I still don't know. In the story, I thought it meant I was fucking like shifting to different consciousness. I don't even know what that means. I used to think I knew it had something to do with the soul or whatever, you know. Now, sorry, a bee just flew in my face while I was talking. Almost went in my mouth. That would have been pretty fucking uncomfortable. But anyways, yeah, I believe that I was ascending into different, you know, levels of consciousness, and I don't even know. I don't know what any of that shit means. And to even talk about it and explain it to you or express this to you, whatever, it's hard because I don't know what any of that means. But this person really believes that they're ascending. They believe that they're ascending, okay? No one actually knows what will happen. So again, just refer back to your own growth. And everything will be amazing. People move at their certain pace in different dimensions. This is what this person was saying. I don't even know if there's a dimension, but in the story there is, I guess. In the story, the person believes that there's different dimensions. And you know, apparently something is happening in the story, but we don't know what that is. And we don't even know if it's happening. But in the story, it's very real to the person, and they truly believe that they are like traveling into different dimensions. But I'm going to be honest with you, before spirituality, I didn't talk that way. I did not talk that way. I was just what you would call an ordinary person, just living my life. I really didn't have any beliefs. I wasn't religious at all. Wasn't into spirituality, but I would like to say, what I realized that through my divorce is when I started to reach and seek out things. Because my divorce was pretty intense. It was pretty fucked up. So, and I just wanted to feel better. I didn't want to feel the way I was feeling. And so yeah, I started seeking out, and I seeked out religion, and I really became religious fast too. And people thought I was losing my mind because they weren't used to me being that way, because I was never religious, you know. But and then, you know, when spirituality happened, that's when I started to believe in like quantum leaping and shifting into different levels of consciousness, and, you know, traveling through linear time and blah, blah, blah. And it just was yeah. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the person believing in all of this stuff. I'm not. Because it is what it is. It is what it is. Look, everything is the story. Everything is the story. And there is no getting out the story. It's just boundlessness of the story. There's no getting out of it. Right? But there is this realization that can appear to happen to the person where there's no more beliefs behind the story. It's just, it is what it is. You know, I realize I'm in the story, but I just no longer have the beliefs around, you know, behind the story. There's no beliefs here whatsoever. And, yeah. But this person really believes that they're ascending, that there's an ascension. Right? I think light workers give themselves too much responsibility for everybody else and take a bit of ego with the stance that we can bring everybody along and really everyone's going to go their own pace, which I kind of agree with her. You know, like I said, no one can compare their journeys to others and tell other people what to do, you know, whatever. And whatever a journey is, I don't even know what that is. But I'm going to stop being uncompromising here, guys. Sorry. Trying to you know, so I agree with her, but at the same time, it's like people really believe that there's a journey that you're on. The people really believe that there's such thing as a light worker, an ego. These are things that we were taught. These were things that we were programmed to believe is true. And you don't even have to be spiritual to believe that there's an ego. Because I know people that weren't spiritual that believe that they have an ego. But again, that's something that we were taught as a baby. That we have an ego, a soul. That we were born and that we die. And then people start to limit themselves because they believe in all this shit. But no one really knows. No one knows a fucking thing, really. We're just idiots that's walking around thinking we know something. And I don't even know what a fucking idiot is, but whatever. In the story, I do, though. And in the story, I guess I know what an ego is and a fucking soul and death and birth. But blah, blah, blah. There's no belief behind that. There's no belief behind any of that shit. There's no belief. But I do realize I'm in the story and, you know, I'm living my life and having fun and whatever you want to call that and enjoying life fully. without all the beliefs and concepts. Although I do have to, in order to express myself, you know, you have to use labels and whatever, but there's just no story around it anymore. It is what it is. It is what it is. Something else I found that I want to read off to you. If I can find it. Okay, so something else I came across. 2 lovers, 2 hearts, 1 soul, only joined can they be truly complete. Only joined can they survive the darkness. Like, what the fuck is that? 2 hearts, 1 soul, and the only way that they can be complete is if they are with each other? What the fuck? Like, people believe this shit. They believe that the only way that they can be complete is if they're with that person. Like, listen to that shit. Listen to that shit. And there's no such thing as completeness. That's another fucking concept that a person believes. This is it. Like, you are it. And I don't even know if you are it, but no one needs someone in order to be happy. Like, it's just crazy talk, yo. It's crazy. It's nonsense. And a person will literally waste their whole life believing in this shit and waiting on that person. Because they believe that they can't be with anybody else but that person. Because they're one soul. Honestly, before Twin Flames, had anybody ever come up to me and talk to me about that shit, talking about there's only, you know, you share a soul and there's one soul, I would look at that person like they were crazy. I would have. But I get it. I was once there. I'm not judging anybody, but it's like, listen, read shit and read it. Just really read the shit and listen back. I mean, it just, I don't know. But some people are so brainwashed that they can't see it. Like, some people are going to watch this video and they're not going to be able to, they're not going to see it because they're so brainwashed. They can't see it. See how that sounds. That I can't move on or be with someone else because I share one soul with that person. We're one soul. I won't be complete without them. Dude, there's life after Twin Flame. I promise you that. There's life after Twin Flame. And whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever sensation that's coming up for you right now, will change. I mean, it will stop when it stops. And there's no forcing it, right? There's nothing that can make it stop. But it will stop when it stops. But when you sit and create a story around that sensation that's coming up, it almost seems like it prolongs it. Because you're sitting here creating this fairy tale around it and believing that it's true and blah, blah, blah. It's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. And I know. I get it. I was there. But even with spirituality, you know, people will sit and be in it and think that they're ascending and traveling into different dimensions and stuff like that. And it just blows my mind now when I look back, you know, that I actually was once there. And that I actually was once religious. And like I said, I'm not going to knock people that are in it, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But when I look back, it's just kind of like, I'm just like, whoa, really? What was I going through? Right? Look, if it doesn't resonate, then it doesn't resonate. If it doesn't apply, then let it fly, y'all. Okay? I'm just expressing myself. I'm not here to teach you anything, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Toodles.